Yo, what's up? This is Romeo Marquez Jr. Thanks for tuning in to episode number 6 of Superstar Success University. And today I'm super duper excited to have one of the most amazing dudes I know, Mr. Terry Brock, on the show. Are you ready to do this, Terry?
Oh, we are ready to rock, my friend. We're going to have a great time today. It's wonderful to be with you.
Oh, likewise. So check it out. Terry Brock is an internationally recognized Hall of Fame speaker. He's a marketing coach and an author. He recently came out with a book called Clout Matters: How to Engage Customers, Build Your Influence, and Raise Your Clout Score for Success. Everybody, let's welcome Terry Brock.
Thank you. Ooh, I like that. Yes.
So that's just a little piece of who Terry Brock is. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more of who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm passionate about making the world better and helping people. And I find that we can do that through business, through helping people to do more of what they really want to do so that they can help others. I really believe that the free enterprise system, the free market, is really the best way to do that, where you can help other people to achieve the greatness that's inside them. And the way you do it is by helping other people meet their needs. It's kind of like the old phrase we've heard from Zig Ziglar so often. Zig said it well. You can get anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. And I realized that's the key. So for me, it's been an adventure of writing the books that we did, like you mentioned, our Clout book. And I also have been able to work with Skype and AT&T doing things, and as a speaker bouncing around the planet. And I find it's just a fun thing that when we do what helps others, it inevitably helps us.
Yeah. See, a common theme for all the people that I've been interviewing is it really comes down to helping others to just make this world better.
Yep.
And of course, you do that in global ways, which is amazing to hear and see and experience. And so I would love for listeners to know what it was like for you growing up, because I strongly believe in the power of personal stories. So your journey on where you are today.
Oh, my. Well, I was born at a very young age. But had a good child growing up and things, and I loved getting into communication. When I was a junior in high school, I had an opportunity, and I worked 4 jobs as a junior in high school. 2 of them were teaching martial arts, and the other one was working at a radio station. And my voice is over about a third of the state of Michigan on a chain of stations there, where I grew up in Michigan. And another one was a newspaper I worked on, and I wrote columns there for the local paper, and they liked what I did. I was age 16, and they sent me to Washington, D.C., and I covered Richard Nixon's inauguration, which was kind of cool. So you go back, when was that? Was that near Abraham Lincoln? Yeah, well, a little bit past that, but got a chance to do it. And so undergrad school was majoring in communication, radio, TV, newspaper, and then I found out there was a thing that's important called profits and sales. And so I thought, I need to learn about some of that stuff.
What is that?
And went back and got an MBA, and they showed me, yep, that profit stuff is important. So went on from there, and then have worked in a lot of different places speaking, and just been honored to work in the world and meet a lot of different people from so far 35 countries and counting. And I feel like I'm off to a good start, ready to begin now.
See, you just, all that took place in what? 2 minutes. Wow, I just felt like I was on a roller coaster with you.
Oh, it's been a roller coaster, and I love it. That's what I think. Life should be an adventure. That you've got to find out what it is that really gets your juices flowing, and it's going to be different for everyone. So really, the way to do it, there's no cut and dried thing. One person will say, "Well, this is what I did, and therefore you should do it." Well, maybe. I find also often what we want to do is get a composite. We go, oh, this is what Romeo's doing. I like that part. And I like what she's doing over here. And I like what she's doing over here. And you kind of get different elements, and you craft and mold your own ideal way of living. And it's also constantly changing, because think about it. We're all changing. I'm not the same person that I was years ago. And I'm not even the same person that I was yesterday. We keep changing all around. And I think if you're constantly improving, you're constantly finding ways to help others and to help yourself and better yourself, then life becomes much more fulfilling, enriching, even though, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be times when things don't go always really the way you want, and those are good learning experiences.
Right. This reminds me of, I went to UCLA to study theater, film, and television, and Anthony Hopkins, he taught a master class, and one of the students asked him, what kind of acting technique do you use? And there are just tons of different acting techniques.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, I just take each of them and combine them and make it my own.
Yes.
And it's exactly what you say, just taking little pieces that work for you. Yeah. Because what works for you might not work for me, or there are pieces that you do that do work for me.
Yeah, I think it's like eclectically living. That's a term I like, being eclectic, that you take the best of many different things. And so the way you do that is you have to read a lot. You get exposed to a lot of different options. If you only did one thing, lived only in one part of the world, and you only did that thing because that's the way we did it, and my daddy did it that way, my granddaddy did it, etc. And a lot of people have done that throughout the centuries. That's all they did. They never went more than, say, 20, 30 miles from the place they were born. That was the limit. Well, today, we live in an exciting time where there's more opportunity than ever. We can travel. Travel is safer now to travel around the world than ever in history. Right? We hear of a tragic accident or an airplane crash, and we go, "Oh, it's terrible," and get scared. Well, it's much safer today than ever in history, and we've got communication. So that, for instance, right now you're in the Bay Area, right? In California.
This is the power of technology.
And I'm here in Orlando. We're able to connect with each other. We're using video, and I want you to know, Roman, I'm going to go ahead and pay for this call on Skype here. How's that? Is that sure. Since there's no charge.
Right.
It's like we have great video connections. We can see each other. I could pick up, before we started recording, I'd pick up my webcam and show you what it looks like outside in Orlando today on a beautiful sunny day. And I can look around your office and see what's happening. I think the world is better today than ever. And we've got options just going out on Google. If you want to learn about a given topic, you want to learn about Oogie Boogies, whatever Oogie Boogies might be. You go, I want to learn about Oogie Boogies and Eeky Bees over here. I want to learn that stuff. You can go out on Google and many other places and really learn it. There's no excuse today for not knowing something about things that are really important to you. You can find it. Libraries are teeming with information.
Yeah,
and you can
in
get all that.
the palm of your hands, right in front of you.
Exactly. It's just right there. And so if someone says, I can't get it, well, hey, maybe, Sparky, you need to put some effort into this. If you're not really working at it and going for it, well, then you're not going to go far. But you still need to read. You still need to listen. You still need to attend sessions, whether it's online or in person. I tend to like both. But I think you need to do that in order to really learn what's going on and to make yourself better. You have to take the effort. And you got to put in some time, money, and effort to make it happen.
Yeah, I noticed that you bring up, books and learning and reading. I in high school I wasn't much of a reader, but right when I got into personal development after high school, I really got into it. And so my question to you is, what are some books that you like or that you would recommend to other people?
Oh my goodness! Interesting.
In addition to Clout Matters.
In addition to Clout Matters, that's right. In addition to Clout, well, probably also Relationship Marketing, my other book that I did before.
There you go.
Shameless plug. But seriously, there's a lot of books out there. Interesting you say that, because what I need to do right now, I write columns for business journals. We got 43 papers from coast to coast, and I'm regularly writing in those papers and doing it. And somebody sent me a note. I love hearing from readers, and he said, "What books would you recommend, Terry?" And I thought, there's a bunch of them. I need to get a list of that. So check at terrybrock.com, and I'm going to have to put something together on that. But for right now, off the top of my head, books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, which was written 1 year after Think and Grow Rich, but was not published until 2011 because it was so cutting edge, it wasn't even ready for the time then. And his family said, no, it's not until 2011. So that's a really good one. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I love Atlas Shrugged. It's like so many people say, it all starts with Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. A great book written back in the late 50s, I think 57, and it's still relevant today. Even more so today, when you see what's there of how you, with the power of your mind and producing, you can rationally live your life, and you're going to make your life what you want it to be if you're willing to put forth the efforts and the energy to do it. There's so many other books out there, but those have been good. And I find that going back and reading books regularly, reading is something we haven't done as much today. Really important. I use my iPad a lot here, so I can just carry this with me when I'm on the road, and it's wonderful. I've got about 400 or 500 books on here alone, and just being able to read those wherever I'm going, and go back and rereading them as well, and the paper books too. So I'll have paper books available in different places where I go, and I just find that what a better way to increase your knowledge and your bandwidth of what's going on in the world than to sit down and spend time with brilliant people who took a lot of their time and condensed it down into a few pages that you can read. And for a few coins, you can put those coins down, often for free, and you can read that and get that information so that you don't have to go through and make the mistakes they did. You don't have to go through and learn what they came up with as wisdom and knowledge. And you can just inculcate that into your own brain simply by paying the price of time, money, and energy and make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because there are a lot of times where I don't have time to read or I'm doing this, but really reading and just educating yourself with knowledge and wisdom, especially with those that are doing what you want to do, you can easily see them as personal mentors of yours, you know?
Yes, that's a good way to put it. They're personal mentors. You've got to do it. To say, well, I don't have time for reading. It's like saying, I don't have time for sleeping and eating. Excuse me. You're going to find it somewhere along the road there. You know, come on, get it together there, Scooter. You got to find the time to put the end to that, make it happen, make it work. And that means, you know, what gets me is, Roby, I'll see people that are saying, well, I don't have time for this. I mean, that they sit down and spend like 4 or 5 hours in front of the TV.
Right. Just, or hours on, you know, I believe that, you know, social media can be, you know, used to your advantage, but when you're on it like 50 hours and just surfing, it can become a distraction as well.
Exactly. Look, we all have 168. We got 168 hours in the week. And so I don't care how much money you have or how little, you still got 168. How are you going to invest that? Now, you have to do some things like sleep. Okay, you got to eat. Yeah, and you got family and you got jobs and think, okay, fine, you know, welcome to my planet. It works that way here, you know, got to be a grown-up here. Yeah. And you figure it out, but you say, okay, something like reading is really important. When someone has written and she's distilled great wisdom and information into a book that she wrote, she put it together, and you don't have time to sit down and spend some time to read that and bring it in on something that's extraordinarily important and can help you, then maybe you need to re-examine where you're allocating that resource called time.
Yeah. And for those that don't have time to actually sit down and read, there are audio versions.
Yeah.
There are audio versions of that, and you could educate yourself while you're driving.
Absolutely. Like you're there in the Bay Area in California, you get on that little parking lot called 5, you know, Highway 5 going up and down the freeway there, you know, well, just don't complain about traffic. You can't do anything about it anyway. What you can do, though, is listen and go to has been called the University of the Car. And listen to great audio. And right now, there's so many podcasts that are just delicious and wonderful out there, like yours. And be able to listen to that audio, be able to then use that to really make your life better so that, so what? You're delayed 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or there's a big accident and you were delayed an hour. Listen to something that's useful, because what good does it do to listen to all these traffic reports on the radio of just, there's a traffic accident over there at the County 5, and don't even think about going there. You know, well, who cares? Is it going to matter a few hours from now? A day from now? Will that even matter? No. And so take that time and invest it in your brain, learning from the best minds, the best classes and teachers that exist anywhere on the planet.
Right. So I just recently wrote a book called The Success Messages, Inspiration to Recharge Your Passion and Potential and Purpose. And so what it comes down to is it's a positive quote book. I like to call it a fortune cookie book. You know, it has an affirmation, it has a note. So there are things in there that says, you know, focus on your mission rather than what's missing, because what's missing doesn't keep you moving. And these are messages I received in meditation. And so I just compiled them in a book. And so speaking of positive quotes, what is a positive quote or a quote that you like to live by?
Oh, my heavens. There's a lot of them. I like Zig Ziglar's that I told you about.
Yeah, I like that one.
I think that's really important, and I think Ayn Rand has given us a lot as well. You know, the idea that if you strive for and achieve a greatness, you'll be able to do it. She didn't say exactly like that, but things like that. I think we need to go through and cull the great wisdom from people throughout the centuries. And when you decide what's there, again, that eclectic living, being able to pick the very best from a lot of different sources, losses, and keep track of it in your own personal journal. I think having your own personal journal is an extraordinarily important thing to have in your life, because then it gives you the ability to not have to go back and relearn those lessons again and again, but you go back and revisit what you wrote down there 2-3 years ago. You remember that challenge you were going through 3 years ago when you didn't know how you're going to do it? If you write all that down, you can go back and go, oh yeah, now I remember that. It looked pretty bleak at the time, but I did this, this, and this and got out of it. That's going to be the type of environment and the type of habit that will help you enormously in the future.
And with as we go about our business and life, there are times where it's going good, and then there are times where we hit a challenge or a roadblock. Has there been a failure? I'm always about, failure leads to success. Has there been a failure that made a significant change or a turning point in your life, and are taking advantage and growing from that?
Oh yeah, there's several of them. And I find what we do, we actually can grow more from the failures, which I don't see as a total devastation. I look at failures as when you fell down, you get back up. And you figure out, okay, what did I do wrong? Brush yourself off, maybe wipe a little blood off now and then, and that's okay. That's part of being on the planet. And you go through and you clean it up. And matter of fact, one thing that comes to my mind, I mentioned in my book, Relationship Marketing, where I was in the MBA program. This was really deep and personal. I couldn't share this for a long time. But I was in the MBA program, and I really wanted to do it. My undergrad degree was radio, TV, newspaper, and we didn't do a whole lot in math on that. I mean, I'm not that good in math, but I got in the MBA program. They had these things called prerequisites, and you were supposed to know this stuff about accounting and other nastiness. And I thought, oh, well, okay, I'll try it. And I said, well, it's probably just pluses and minuses, right? No, they said there's a thing called a T account, Terry. I said, T account? What is that? And they showed me and all this. Well, I worked with it and tried it really hard, but we went through the class that first semester there in the MBA program, and I got a D in that class. D as in Delta, or as in dummy, on my part. And then wasn't long after that, about a week later, the university sent me a little letter. They said, Terry, we want you to know that D is not acceptable. And if you get another one of those, you won't be in this MBA program. And I was devastated, because I told everyone that's what I want to do. I want to get it. And I thought, oh, great. And I was feeling really bad. And then I remember walking along the road, just feeling kind of down. And then all of a sudden, just kind of kicked myself in the butt, as sometimes you have to do. I just said, okay, Terry, figure out what to do. Let's turn it around and make it happen. I'm going to learn what to do. I'm going to go back. I'll take the same course, and I'll get an A this time. So I re-enrolled in that course, which I needed to do. I had to do it anyway. I re-enrolled in it, got in there, and I thought, I'm going to work hard. And I got a B, as in better, but not great, Terry.
And
it was okay, so I got a D and a B. School sent me another little letter. They go, dear Terry, you're a B and a D. We did some calculations and found it averaged to a C. And you can't stay in the program and have a C. So we'll give you another shot at this. I thought, oh, great. And so then but I finished it with a B. So now what I got to do is I went back and I had a cost accounting class. So the first one was just accounting in general. Next one was a little more specific on cost accounting. And I thought, I'm going to crack this thing. I'm not good with math, but I'm going to figure it out, whatever it takes. And I started relentlessly just going over and over and over practices. I'd write the answers down, then wad up the paper, throw it away. Then write them down again, wad up the paper, throw it away. And I do that so many times that eventually I just kind of memorized it. And I got an A in that class.
There you go.
And then I went on for more, and I started learning. Even though I was not an accounting major within the MBA program, I was majoring in marketing. But I went over it, and I started learning it, enjoying it. That and finance. And every accounting class, every finance class I had, I got an A in it. And I thought, well, that's kind of neat. For me, it was just an accomplishment. Yes, I graduated eventually, got the MBA, it was good. But what really happened is because I had done so much of that. There's a thing called the cash flow statement. And I practiced with the cash flow statement over and over and over, just relentlessly practicing it. And I learned it. And it was almost like cheating. When we had the final exam in the cash flow finance class, I was like, I closed my eyes and I could see the numbers that I had done literally like 50, 60 times. Writing them down, throw it away. Write it down, throw it away. Keep practicing. And I did that, and I got an A in that class. And I thought, this is great. And then I thought, hey, let me try this out here when I got out of school. I was doing consulting and helping people with these new things at the time called computers. And they had spreadsheets. We had used SuperCalc, and then this new one called Lotus 123 came out. I put it together and kind of did some calculations that if you have this much excess cash, you invest it at this rate. If you have a deficit, you borrow at a given rate. And we showed the cash flows. It would go through discounted back and net present value, a bunch of fancy accounting things. But I'd learned that stuff finally. And so then I found there was a place that needed some help on showing people how to use computers. And I showed them that, and I put together the cash flow statement and showed them how to do it. And there happened to be one person in the class, a little while who saw that and said, Terry, I'm with the Accounting Association here in town for the whole state, and we'd like to know if you could come over and help us and teach this. I thought, me teaching accountants? So I did. I put it together, put a class, and they came and they started coming. And they saw what was there, and they could see the excitement with this. And they were doing things they couldn't do before. I'm showing them how to do it, and I knew all their terms and all that. And then I even put it together for on a little disc. It was 5.25-inch disc at that time, and the Journal of Accountancy, the big voice for accountants worldwide. There were like several 100,000 accountants around the world, saw the article that I wrote for them, that they had asked me to write about it, and they sent me money to buy my discs. So they were buying all kinds of discs. I thought, I'm making money on this thing that almost got me thrown out of an MBA program at one time. Yeah. And so all of that I say, not to say, oh, I'm cool, but to say, wait a minute. This is what happened to me, and it can happen to those listening to this, those that are viewing this on video, that if you have those challenges, okay, that's fine. You can be despondent and endure that for a moment, but don't stay there. Get up. Get up, dust yourself off, and figure out what you need to do. Not just in a pumping your fist in the air going, yes, I can do it. Right. Yes, stand up and say you can, or some idiotic nonsense like that. Turn to the person next to you and say, I'm cool and great. I mean, that doesn't work. What does work is to take a positive attitude and then figure out what you need to do. Get the help and resources. I went to the professor, and I got the professors to help me on this stuff. And I studied the books, and I paid the price in terms of time, money, and energy to learn it. And it didn't happen in one time. I had to keep hammering away at it. And then it can turn it around completely. Well, that launched my career as I was teaching CPAs not only in that state, but then around the country, and to the AICPA, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and talking with them and teaching them. And that helped me to become the speaker that I am, which led to getting into the Speaker Hall of Fame. And so one thing leads on the other. And I would say, if you are having that challenge, that thing that's just breaking your heart and you're crying and you've fallen down, you got up and you fell down again, you got up and you fell down again, that's all right. They say sometimes third time's a charm. Well, that could be. And sometimes it's the fourth or fifth or the 50th or the 60th time. That's right. You know, you keep using your brain, and you figure out what to do, and you get the resources and the help you need, and you have a determined, dogged determination that you're going to work with that or make the right adjustments so that you are doing those things that are in line with your goal. So that's a long answer to what you asked about.
No, this failure, is a perfect answer.
That was it. And now we got it here recorded on audio, so we can share it with others.
Yes. It reminds me that for every setback, there's a comeback to a greater opportunity. Yeah. So in other words, that setback is a servant for life, in other words. And it also reminds me of the other thought that I've heard in workshops and trainings that it doesn't really matter what happens to you, but rather what you do with what happens to you.
Absolutely.
And that was just a phenomenal story. Yeah. I'd like to shift into technology and using it to your advantage. You know, if you're out there using technology in your business, and talk about the advantages of technology. And talk about Klout, because I know a lot of people know about Klout, but a lot of people don't know about Klout. Now, I didn't know about it until you told me about it when we were sitting at the NSA convention.
Yeah, Klout is really a tool, and that's Klout with a K, K-L-O-U-T. It's a tool that measures how you're doing in social media. And it gives a score of 0 to 100, 100 being the highest, to say, hey, here's how you're doing, based on a whole bunch of numbers that they crunch. And they come up with some really sophisticated algorithms and some really, really smart people there. Matter of fact, in San Francisco, where you are. And they've come up with a score to help you. And what it is, it's a smart way of marketing. It's a way not just to say, well, I'm at this score or you're at that score or whatever. No. It's a way to say, you know that post you tried last week? It did really well. Look at what happened to your score. It went up when you did that. There's something about what you did on the message on it, how you did it. You want to do that again. Or the converse of that, you know that post you put out you thought was really going to be just real dandy? It didn't do so well. Take a look at this. Yeah. Your score went down. Well, that's good feedback. That's good to know, to say, okay, I need to stop doing that kind of thing and do something else. And so it's really a tool. And that's what technology is. Yeah. It's a tool to help us learn how to live our lives better. I guess kind of like when many eons ago, your ancestor and mine, I think Og, we'll call him, lived in the cave, had a big old club, running around, many things. When he figured out that he could eventually use this thing called a wheel, get a stone and kind of smooth it out and make one, put one on the other side of this thing, put a little stick between it and put something on there, he could go farther with this new technology, this really cool technology called a wheel, and wheels, plural, and roll around. He could do pretty well. And then he got a little spear, and he figured out if he sharpens it, he could throw that thing and bring home dinner, but a little bit easier. And so he was using it. And then when Spears 2.0 came out, he liked that upgrade, and went with it. And so old Og, he was using tools to make his life better. And really, that's what technology is. Now when we got, where's my, here. My cell phone, right here. Playing a little cell phone. This is my iPhone 5.
I thought you were going to pull out a Caveman Club real quick.
Yeah, I thought I'd get the Caveman Club. Og wasn't in town today, so I didn't have it, Okay. But the little phone here, think about it. One person can literally reach and change the lives of millions of people with the right message. Now on the internet, it really doesn't matter whether you were with the cool kids in school, or you have the best looks, or you're prettier than him, or he's smarter than you, or he made the football team and you didn't. None of that matters. Today, what you can do is you find out where you can sparkle. And you might say, well, I can't do it. Well, find out what you can do. With the audio, with the video, with the writing. Maybe if you don't do anything but just write, you can be a rock star in your area. Find out what's going to work for you, leverage this technology, and make it happen.
Yeah. You just said something that reminds me of John Wooden's quote, where he says, "Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do."
Yeah, real good.
And so with clout, why is clout important?
Clout is important because it's giving you that feedback that we talked about before, but also now people are using that to make decisions on who they're going to hire. Many areas they're looking at. For instance, in Hollywood, let's take it down just a little ways from where you are, down there in L.A. and Hollywood. Yeah. They're under pressure right now from the studios to crank out really good movies. Some haven't done as well, and the studios don't like to put money, millions and millions of dollars, into something that flops. They want something that's going to be really good. And so let's suppose you're the producer or you're a director, and you've got to pick a really good actor for this one part that's really pivotal. There's 3 actors, actor A, actor B, and actor C. All 3 of them have a good body of work. They've had some really good pictures. They've had some others that didn't do as well. And they all look pretty good. They're kind of even. And you need to find out who is going to bring in more people into the box office, actor A, B, or C. The clout score becomes a factor that they use. Not the only thing, but it is a factor. And they say, gee, we want people that have high influence. And that's what clout is about. Who has more influence? Well, if actor A has a score of, say, 20, actor B has a score of maybe 50, and actor C has a score of 80, they're going to go, whoa, that's a significant difference.
Right.
And that one with the 80 clout score is going to probably bring more people into the box office to put their money down, help this picture be a better success than the others. That can be the tiebreaker. And that's why if you are the actor or you're the person that's being hired and the people who are hiring you are looking at clout score, you definitely want to know about it.
Definitely. And you just go to clout.com where you can sign up and add the different social media tools that you're currently using, right?
Yeah, that's right. If you have Twitter and you just have a plain vanilla Twitter account, you haven't done a whole lot trying to change it or alter it or anything, you have a clout score. And if you go to clout.com, you can look it up and you'll see what your score is right now. And it might be kind of low if all you're doing is connecting with Twitter, which is a great tool, but there's certain things you need to do. If you do some of the things that we talk about in our book, like, for instance, engaging with people. Now, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. You can have 100 bazillion followers. Accurate number, by the way. 100 bazillion followers. And if you have that, it really doesn't matter. What does matter is when you send something out, if at least 50 bazillion of those respond back saying, ooh, I like that, I want to retweet it. That gives you clout juice. And so it's the effect you could have. Go to clout.com and make sure that you click and you connect on the networks. Say, yes, I give you permission to look at my Facebook account. Yes, I give you permission to look at my LinkedIn account. Yes, I give you permission to look at, and here's a few others that they look at. So you want to see those, make sure that cloud is going, okay, you've given me permission. I'll start tracking how you're doing on that. And we've done this with many people, with clients of ours, people that are reading our book. They went through the book, they saw what could be done with it, and they said, I've got to try that. And they do it, and sure enough, they're writing back, jumping up and down, giddy with glee. Terry, this is great. My cloud score jumped from here up to here. And my co-author, Gina Carr, will say, yes, and do this to tweak it, and it goes up a little bit more. And so those kinds of things really matter. And all it is doing, really, is you are doing those things that make you a good social media citizen, that help you to connect with others, to be a more effective marketer, and you're getting some good feedback from an objective system that tells you what to do. And then in the book, we say, here's how you do it.
What other apps or tools do you use to take advantage of technology to serve your business and life better?
Oh my! You got 3 hours here.
Yeah.
I can get started.
Go ahead and just give us like one or two.
One or two. Well, there's a whole bunch of them. Let's see. I'm using a lot of them. One of them that I like to use a lot is called iJot. That's EYEJOT. iJot gives you the ability
an app
to
on your phone.
Yeah, you can put it on your phone, you can put it on your iPad, and you can put it on your desktop or your laptop computer. And it's free on the desktop and laptop computer. They have a free version, and they have two other versions. It's $4.99 if you buy it through the App Store here, but it gives you the ability to record a video and then send that video to the Amazon servers, actually. It's going up to a server in the cloud in the sky, and then I send you a link. So I'm not actually sending you the video, I'm sending you a link, much like if I would say, hey, Roman, here's a great video you'll love over on YouTube. Here's the link for it. And you watch it and you go, oh, that's a great video, Terry. Thanks for showing it. You don't physically have the video on your device. You wouldn't want it there. It takes too much space, too hard for it to go through. But if you can upload this to the cloud, then once it's in the cloud, they send a note to the person that you want, and it's a link. That's a great way to connect with people on a more human basis, really building relationships. And that's really what I think cloud and business is all about, is developing those relationships, and relationship marketing really is the key.
Yeah, one of the things that I do is I coach acting. I teach acting. Like I have students on, Nickelodeon or Disney or whatever it may be.
Nice.
And in regards to acting, I really say that it's all about relationship, and that just applies in every aspect of our life.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I love how you bring that up. And it's the cooler thing is you wrote a book about it. And so just remind us what that book is called.
Oh, yeah. And then the book is Relationship Marketing. This one is here. It's I say it's not about e-commerce, all the electronics. It's about our commerce, relationships. And that's a real cool thing. And of course, the other one is Clout. Clout Matters. McGraw-Hill came to us and said, hey, can you write this for us? And we said, okay. And then, by the way, I got to say this also as a side note. The folks at McGraw-Hill were really just wonderful. Working with them, fabulous professionals. And they'd come up with something that I'd say, well, what do we do about this and this? And they'd say, well, Terry, you need to do this, this, this. I go, that's great. Great idea. And so it's good. But also another thing, you said you're teaching acting. I did not know that. Matter of fact, I got to show you something. Hang on. We're right here in my study. I got to get a book. I'm going to show you.
Please.
Yes. You probably see this.
Actor's
Work by Konstantin Stanislavski.
There you go. That's
this
one
boy
of the
really knows
acting
his
techniques
stuff.
that I use.
Method acting. That's right. And I would say those of you that are watching, those of you that are seeing this on video, this is what the book looks like. And those of you who are listening to it, that's Konstantin. That's with a K. Konstantin Stanislavski. He's really famous. Yeah. He was famous from way back. Did a thing called method acting. But this is good. It's a big old thick monster too. Look at this. How many pages is this? He was Russian, so the Russians don't think they can write a book unless it's got 500 billion pages. This one's like 693 total, but it is really good for dealing with people, for connecting with them on a real world basis. And so you mentioned the acting, and I thought, I got it right here in my study. I got to show it to you. That one right there would be really good. That'd be another one that I would recommend strongly for people to get and read. And just, it's not one that you go through one time. You want to really study it. I'm writing it and underlining in it and all that kind of thing. It's a really good one.
So to wrap this up, I'm all about, sharing your message to the world. And when I did my TEDx talk, one question I had to ask myself is, if I had 18 minutes to talk to the world, what would I say? So to shorten that down, in a few seconds, what's your message to the world?
We live in a world today that has enormous opportunities if you're willing to pay the price in terms of time, money, and effort to learn what you need to do, get the help, get the resources you need. The opportunities are outstanding, better now than ever before in history, but you've got to be willing to pay the price. No one is going to do it for you. You have got to do it. You've got to get ready for it, be prepared for setbacks, and when they come, not if, but when they come, you learn from them, you pick yourself up and go at it again, and then doing the right things in the right way, getting the right kind of help, you can achieve the goals that you want.
Man, I've heard this so many times, but coming from you, I just got all chills going down my body. I'm like, yeah.
Well, I just kind of make it up. I mean, I'm just, making it up, but I'm living it too. That's coming from, the years of experience. And it's not to say, hey, I'm doing everything right. No, I feel like I'm just getting started.
Right.
I've done a whole bunch of things, but I've done all those things to get me right now where I am at this moment so that I'm ready to get started. Let's go.
And it's not even about rock and rolling for you. It's Brock and rolling.
Yeah, Brock and roll. That's right.
Well, where can people find you, book you, on social media, whatever it may be for you?
We got all the Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all those kind of things. I'm out there. Best thing to remember, go to terrybrock.com. The www.terrybrock, and that's spelled Terry, and Brock is spelled the right way, BROCK. So terrybrock.com, and you'll see all that. And if you're watching this video or listening to the audio, please let me know you heard it here on Romeo's program. He is a wonderful guy, and as I get to know him more and more, really like him. Tap into his information. The guy is good. He's got a lot of enthusiasm, and even more, he's got a lot of substance. That's what I like. He's got the combination. You need somebody that's got the substance and the fun. If all they have is fun, you're not going to be able to go as far. And if all they got is substance, they're really boring, and you don't go for it. He puts the two of them together, and this man is good. Tap into his stuff and learn about him.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I appreciate you, Terry. Again, I think one of the gifts of going to the convention was really meeting people like yourself. So thank you. It's an honor to have you on here. And I know I'm definitely going to reach out to you again and have you back, because I know a lot of listeners are definitely getting a lot of information and messages and gifts from you. So thank you.
Thank you, Romeo. An honor to be with you, sir.
All right. Talk to you soon.